Today is September the 27th,
Yeah.
2024. My name is Tanya Finchum. I'm with Oklahoma State University with the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program. I am in Tulsa at the OSU Tulsa Library to interview Michael and Cynthia Pierce
Yeah.
as part of our Santa Ambassadors project. But before we get to that, the Santa part of this, let's learn a little bit about you. Start wherever you like, childhood, family, whatever.
My mama always taught me ladies first.
Okay. I'm Cynthia Pierce, Helen Cynthia Pierce, and I am a proud Army brat. Traveled all over the world and very proud of that. Ended up at the University of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooners, because my dad got stationed in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Had a wonderful time there, was a dorm counselor, and then I had the privilege of going to law school there. During my fun times, I met my best friend, Michael, and we eventually got married and moved here to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we've been for 47 years. So, yeah, and been very active in the community and have enjoyed our lives here and still do.
So we'll back up a little bit. Are you an only child?
No, I am the oldest of three. So I'm the big sister.
You're the boss.
And I'm the boss. And they do still recognize, my brother and sister still recognize that. Yes, that I am the boss. Right?
Right.
We were blessed to have a daughter. And well, she's the boss of us. Okay.
Yeah, that's how that works too.
But and so we raised her well. So when she says to do something, we do it, you know.
So in high school, what was your plans upon graduation? What did you see your career being?
I actually, in high school, I didn't have a specific career. I knew I wanted to go to college, so I got a full scholarship to Mercer University, and went there my freshman year. And then, like I said, my dad got transferred to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and when he picked me up to bring me home to Oklahoma, he advised that I would need to pick a college closer to Fort Sill, and that's how I ended up in Norman, Oklahoma. So, but I didn't really have a specific area I wanted to go into. I knew that because I am kind of bossy, that it would need to be, and I love reading, and I love figuring out the facts and reading the news and stuff, so I knew it was going to be in that area. When I got to the University of Oklahoma, my political science teacher encouraged me to get a degree in political science, which is what I did. But I realized that I didn't want to go into politics and ended up going to the University of Oklahoma School of Law. And did that. Actually was a challenge. Someone said, you can't go, and that you never want to tell me something I can't do, because then that's when I do it. And was privileged to get to go to the University of Oklahoma. Knew I didn't want to go into criminal law, but I took oil and gas law. Who goes to the University of Oklahoma School of Law and not take the class from the man who wrote the laws? And my first 10 minutes there, I actually got goosies, and I knew I wanted to get into that business. So I have worked for oil and gas companies and pipeline companies my entire career, and don't regret a minute of it.
Doing contracts and that sort of
Contracts, negotiations with landowners, developers, trying to keep our landowners happy. I work for a pipeline company now, and so we have pipelines going through people's backyards, and we need to maintain it. And so I try to make sure that they understand that it's a safety issue. It's not us trying to violate their rights or anything, but it's still a very interesting job, and so I enjoy doing it. And my area of responsibility is up in Minnesota, South and North Dakota. So that's been when I first started, that was a part of the United States I had never traveled to. So that was exciting to be able to go there, because I'd been all over the country, and I enjoy that. So
It's colder up there, isn't it?
It is colder, yes. In fact, I learned, that's one of the things I did learn, is that we have nose hairs, which I did not realize that human beings had nose hairs. Because my first visit up there, I thought my nose was broken, And my coworker said, "No, your nose isn't broken. That's your nose hairs. They're frozen." Okay.
Lessons you learn on
Lesson
the job.
learned. Yes. Lesson learned. Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
say, so give us a little bit of a timeline. When did you graduate from high school?
I graduated from high school in 1971 and from OU School of Law in 1975. Yeah, 1975. When did we get married? What year?
We got married in 77.
70, yeah.
Uh-oh.
When did I graduate from law school then? 78. Because I had my daughter my third year in law school. That's where I was getting confused.
It took some
Yes.
juggling, didn't
That
it?
was,
Yeah.
But I'm married to a wonderful man, so I wasn't in it by myself. Trust. He carried the heavy load for sure. So, yep, it's been a wonderful journey.
Okay, so it's your turn, Michael. Or Mike, which do you prefer?
Michael.
Michael.
I always say my mother calls me Michael. She named me Michael, so I prefer Michael.
Okay.
I grew up in a family of 7 kids. Both my parents were educators. Dad was All-American athlete from Langston University, and he coached around Oklahoma, including Hugo, Guthrie, Enid, and in 54, I was born in 53. They moved to Oklahoma City, and he coached at Douglas High School, and that's where 6 of the 7 kids went. Of course, the baby boy always spoils the thing. But all 6 of us went to Douglas, and at the time, the family received an award because at that time, most black kids didn't go to college. Well, all 7 of us went to Division I college, and me and my younger brother, we tried to keep up with the older ones. But played baseball and married her, which was, I chased her for 5 years.
I knew he was good.
And so I enjoyed the University of Oklahoma. It was always a challenge to meet the different people. I've always been a people person. And I got to grow up with my great-grandmother. And she was a lady of many wisdoms, a lot more advanced than you would have thought someone of that age. And so I enjoyed my great-grandmother and my grandmother. And we were all, as a family, close to my mother and dad. My dad believed in hard work, fair play, and he told us that one of the things that he always told us as athletes about competing. You know, you only get beat when you stop.
Yeah.
And so the whole family followed that motto. All my brothers and sisters were academically strong, even the one that went to Oklahoma State. But we stretched all over the colleges, went to OU, California. My sister went to OU, and then she went to Berkeley Law School, and then I have a sister in Dallas, and we're kind of spread out. My brother was Air Force, retired Air Force, and at the end of his career, he flew for Southwest Airlines. But when I went to college, I'd been in pretty much an all-black situation, and at OU, it was like 600 blacks there, and it was an experience.
In the 70s? Early 70s?
Yeah,
71.
I came out of Douglas in 72.
Yeah.
So when I went there, it was quite a few, and we all had our views of people and what they stood for. And I learned a lot. I learned from people from Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, the white side of Oklahoma City, black side of Oklahoma City, and I was looking back on my days of going to high school where I wasn't necessarily racist, but I didn't know. And that's where I saw them about not knowing about me. And me and one of my best friends from college, who's white, we were talking about that because my frat brothers knew who he was, and they said, "Well, where's your white friend?" And I couldn't think of who it was. Then I remember, oh hell, that's my friend Gary. That's right. Gary is white. Yeah. So I learned a lot through life. I began my career in what I call salesman. I was a deputy sheriff at Cleveland County, and I sold jail time.
Which is why I knew I did not want to do anything with the jail.
Yeah. So I believe that if you treat prisoners right, they don't act up. And when they act up in the jail, it costs you money. So I fed them right, treated them right, and did those things. And then sold tobacco. And then I sold, after that, I sold healthcare. And that's where I retired. And I did some consulting work in customer service and in salesmanship. And I got a little bit into politics, which I enjoyed because one of the main things I loved going to was the elementary schools. And you see the kids. And my mother was a first grade teacher. And she'd always tell me, "Now, Michael, you can't bend over because the back jumpers." I was like, "What's the back jumper?" She said, "Bend over." And the little kids would jump on your back. But I really loved it. My mother had a program that when kids came in the morning, my fraternity would supply them with toothbrush, toothpaste, and rags to wash their face before they started class. So I go to a class maybe about once, twice a month and see the kids. And then when I got into politics, be on the school board, I used to love to go to elementary schools and see the kids sing and dance and play, and even the high school kids. Even though schools smell a little bit different, but I enjoyed watching the kids grow. And you know, my parents being both teachers, that old saying that teachers are never thanked. And my mother and dad had a philosophy that if you're doing your job right, they will always come back and thank you.
Thank you.
So I grew up with a lot of my mother's students and my dad's students, and eventually my sister's students and niece's students coming back saying thank you. And so that's how the Pierce family judged how well that they would communicate and teaching with the kids. But you know, I had a lot of people wanted me to go further, but my aspiration was with kids. I had the passion. I could stay up 6-7 hours a night reading statutes and stuff like that, and then go to work the next morning. Because on the school board, you only get $25 a meeting. So you got a full-time job, and then you got this. And so you have to balance the two. But my energy would always come up for the kids. So, and then my little girl, it's pride of my joy.
Yeah.
We're pretty tight. She taught me a lot about raising girls. I had 4 sisters and 3 brothers. So it was more expensive than I thought.
But not as expensive as it could have been.
But we bargained and we developed a good plan that we gave, that she started knowing what the plan was for her, like in 4th grade. And she followed this map all the way through college. And in life.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And so we laugh about it. Her and then President Bourne were kind of close. And President Bowen was always planning and scribbling and talking and stuff like that. So she said, my daddy does the same thing. But she's my pride and joy.
Yes, she is.
Cost me a lot of money, but she was my pride and joy.
We taught her that she could decide what college she went to. She grew up at the university, going to the University of Oklahoma activities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we told her, you don't have to go there. And she was like, I don't want to go to OU, because she realized our impact there and how we knew, folks. And so President Boren actually asked us why, because she had chosen University of Michigan or something, because we traveled all over the United States to let her see schools she was interested in. And so President Boren asked us, why does she not want to go to OU? And so, Michael said, President Boren, if you want her to go to OU, you're going to have to let her know. And so President Boren invited her up, remember, for the weekend. I can't remember who to visit. And she got to stay with him and Molly. And when she came back, from that visit, she looked at us and she said, okay, I'm going to the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we were like, yay. We said, are you sure?
Yeah.
But we were.
She walked in the house and had this sad face on her.
Yes.
So we were like,
oh gosh.
And then she went back to her, she had a room in the office, study room. And then she came back and had tears, and I said, okay, I liked it.
I liked it.
So
I liked it.
One of the first thing I looked at is that Michigan was going to be about $4,000 short on scholarship. North Carolina was going to be about $5,000.
Florida.
And now the Emory.
Yeah.
And Atlanta. I was like, oh. And then she got for a ride at OU and got a master's degree.
So she didn't cost you much.
No.
At that.
That's what exactly. And she worked hard. And she worked hard for every guest. And she came out with.
I'll let you use my calculator.
And she came out with a master's. I wanted to add. I would be reluctant. I mentioned my dad was in the military. He was a helicopter pilot. Did 2 tours in Vietnam, and when he retired from the Army, he and my mom moved to Tuskegee, Alabama, where he reopened the airport there and got it, federally sanctioned and taught flight school to folks down there. My dad was 6'3" and quiet, My mother was 5'2", and everyone, anywhere we moved, was afraid of my 5'2" mother. She was a teacher also, and Michael's shaking his head because he knew who, And when I took Michael to meet them with my parents, I looked up and he and my dad were sitting outside on the patio, and my father had never talked to any boy that I had ever brought around. And they're out there laughing, and I'm like, okay, that worked out. And then my mother said, he's a good one, you better keep him. Well, you never not do what my mother says, okay? And then when we would get there, I'd take him, Mom and I would go shopping, do our girl stuff. And so we were going to walk into this store, and I'd seen this young man standing there, and I saw he was carrying a gun. So I was going to walk between my mother. I did walk between my mother and the boy. So when we got close to him, she goes, my mother looks at him, and he stands up straight. How are you doing, Mrs. Banks? How are you? And she was like, I'm doing fine, son. What are you doing? Nothing. I'm waiting on my mom. And so we get in the store, and I said, Mom, do you realize he had a gun? And she goes, I taught him when he was in kindergarten. He's one of the smartest kids that I've ever taught, and he knows it. And I was like, okay, all right. But when Michael was talking about his growing up, what I realized in my, we moved every 3 years, I thought that was a norm. I didn't realize actually until I became an adult that, moving and changing your environment was not a norm. But one of the things that I got from that is that, especially in high school, the high school I graduated from, Carroll High School, I'd only been there 2 years, but when I graduated, I was president of the debate class and, and was active in other things. But what I learned with all of the moving is that everybody has their soft spot. So I knew that the rich kids, the cheerleaders, the proper cheerleaders, I actually saw one in the bathroom crying, and I asked her, "Are you okay?" And she told me what was going on, and I said, "We need to go to the principal and tell the principal." And then I ran for student council president. That's what it was. And one of the teachers asked me, said, "You almost got 100% of the vote. What did you do?" I said, "Well, I just got to know the people." But the rich kids always have problems. The druggies, I didn't do drugs then, and I still don't do them, but I understood what they were doing, you know. And then of course the black students, that was the first year that the black and white kids had merged together, but it was a normal world for me. So like I said, the moving around to me helped me to understand and not misjudge people, you know, and then just be who I am. And they, you know, once you're who you are, folks accept you for who you are and not misjudge folks, you know. So that's something we try to teach my daughter too, is don't use excuses for why you don't do something. Use that as, you know, inspiration to get where you want to go.
Well, how did you two meet?
Let me tell my version first. Okay, so at the University of Oklahoma freshman year, they have a dance, okay? And at the time, it was in a barn. And so the freshman class goes. Well, they said it was in a barn. Well, for me, I'm not going to, a gym. Okay, gym, I'm sorry. And so I'm like, I'm not going to a gym dressed up. And, you know, and then back in the day, that's when you wore pantyhose and stuff. I'm going to wear my overalls and my tennis shoes. And I put my hair in pigtails. And my roommates and other friends on the floor were like, they called me Helen. I went by my first name then, Helen. "You're supposed to dress up." I said, "Y'all can dress up. I'm not dressing up. I'm wearing this." So we get to the dance and the music is wonderful and you know, we're all having a good time. I look across the floor, gym floor, and I see Michael, and he's standing there in overalls too. So we point at each other and we start dancing toward each other, and we became friends from my perspective. And I don't think I had a thing about telling people when the boys would ask me my name, I would say Cynthia.
She lied.
Cynthia is my name. And that's because then it would let me know if they found me that they were truly interested. So he asked me my name and I said Cynthia. And 2 weeks later, I'll let you finish the story.
What happened was all her records were not Cynthia, it was Helen Banks. And so I had a sister that was the dorm counselor. So I knew a lot of the housing administrative people. And I actually had two sisters down there and a brother-in-law at the University of Oklahoma. And so I'm looking for this woman. I can't find her. And so I was like, does anybody know her? Nobody. So then I see her walking around the main campus. And I hollered, me and my frat brothers all around the stairs. I said, "You didn't have to lie to me. You want me to know your name. Just tell me the truth."
"You didn't have to lie to me, Helen Cynthia Banks." Well, yeah. I started laughing. I should have known then.
And she knew that she had lied to me.
I didn't know.
She had done it on purpose.
Yes.
And all my frat brothers said, "Is this the one you talking about you couldn't find?" And I said, "Yeah." So we became friends, and it took her a while. It took her about 5 years to call me her boyfriend. But I hung in there, and at times she was quite mean. You know, we had fraternity and sorority conflicts, some of the activities there. I didn't laugh at her when she tried to play basketball. Had no talent.
Yeah,
and
that is true. But it was about having fun. It was not about being. I was exactly.
Then we had an intramural instructor who was tall, dark, and handsome.
Oh, yeah.
And her and her best bud, when he came into our RA meeting, because we were both RAs.
Resident
we came
advisors.
Into RA. He came into RA meeting. They were both. Well, this guy turns out to be my best friend. And so So everybody knew how much I wanted her, but she wouldn't give me the time of day hardly. And
That
so
was not on my college agenda
so
to hook
that
up
friend
with
that she fell in love with became our best friend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we decided to get together, the whole intramural department and all the staff was so happy.
Yeah,
for us. They didn't think I was gonna get it, and a lot of my other friends thought, nah, she's not gonna take you, but she did, and we based our whole marriage on communication and
Friendship.
and friendship
and not
and the
trying to
truth.
change in the truth and not trying to change each other, accept each other. Not we agree, but we and supporting each other. When he was in politics, I was 110% behind him. In fact, I was like, they don't realize how lucky they are to have somebody so invested in trying to help these children and stuff. So, but
So how'd you pop the question? Or did you?
We were finna go to, I think it was a law school program,
uh-huh.
and I had bought this ring, and I was Paul. And so right before we went to the park, to the big, was it a law school thing? Yeah, it was.
It
a law
was.
school thing. And I proposed to her, asked her, would she marry me? And she, yeah, but,
yes.
and she said, yeah, and then it was my idea to invite her parents, who were in Lawton at the time,
Yeah.
and my parents who were in Oklahoma City, and they came up and we announced that we would get married. Well, she told me not to do it, but I did it anyway. So my mother and dad were happy for me and everything. Her mother was happy because she liked me. Mr. Banks wasn't too sure about that because he had plans for her to finish law school, college.
And he had plans at that point, which we didn't know, remember, to move to Tuskegee.
He didn't take it very well.
Yeah.
And so when we got married, he didn't come to the wedding.
That's because he was flying and he had stuff to do in Tuskegee. See, I knew all of this because Dad and I communicated, but it's my fault that I didn't communicate it to Michael what was going on, which is why I was not upset that my father was not there because he and I had.
Did not come to the wedding.
And he did give his blessing
And
because
so
if he hadn't,
it made me mad because it was upsetting to her. But after we got married, I began to understand the first time we went back to where they were living in Lawton.
Yeah, for sale.
When I walked in with Cynthia, Mr. Banks, her dad, who didn't come to the wedding, talked to me all the time. Didn't say a word to her.
Yeah, he said, hey, his nickname for me was Monkey. He said, hey, Monkey, we were good. Yeah.
But I was
Michael didn't know that he and I had been talking.
Yeah. So.
And it wasn't a big deal.
So
the big deal to me was that his uncle do the ceremony. Uncle Morris was a preacher, their family preacher, and I said the most important thing to me is that Uncle Morris marry us.
Uncle Morris was Reverend Kerr was one of the top black ministers in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And so he had married all 6 of us kids. And so that was a requirement. And we went down there, and he was old school. He ground up in Arkansas and did the country right preacher deal. So Till Death Do Us Part was part of his repertoire as far as his speech. And we don't want that in there. And so he said, what? But he accepted us, and I think it was the first time that in all the people that he married over some 40, 50 years, that he turned the couple around.
Yes.
So that they could see the crowd.
The crowd, yeah.
And married us.
And we got married on during spring break. Okay, so a lot of our dorm residents came. My sister and brother and my mom came up. But I mean, we told folks we gave folks like maybe a 3-week notice.
No,
all of his sisters.
2 days.
2 days, yeah. And his sisters came. But the main thing is that we were there, and Uncle Morris did turn, which I loved. I hadn't thought of that. Turned us around so that they could see our faces and stuff, and it was just perfect as far as I was concerned.
But we didn't have a honeymoon because she had to go to school that next Monday. And I had to go to work at the sheriff's office. Well, actually, the very next day. So we took a honeymoon, 12 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, it wasn't like we were bored or unhappy.
that
It
was
was
the beginning. And, we had our daughter, and
Life happened.
and our daughter had personality. I guess both of us.
She does.
But everybody just loved her.
Yeah.
The sheriff.
Yeah.
He had his kitchen where he did a lot of cooking, and he had her picture on his little bulletin board right there in his kitchen. And so she had a wonderful life, and I think we contributed to that, and both our families were very stable in what they expected of her.
She got to know both sets of grandparents. She'd spend some of her summers down in Tuskegee with my folks, and then some with Michael's parents. And it was important to us that she get to know her grandparents, and she did.
And
Quote stuff.
One of the things that we wanted her to be able to do coming out of high school was to be able to qualify for 3 or 4 different things. So she understood how to be a pharmaceutical salesman.
Yeah.
She understood that she could do a waitress, and taught her how to increase her tips from 5% to 30%. And and that's I remember when I was teaching her, she says, "Does it make that much difference?" One of the things you talked about in the little cafeteria where she worked is coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the cup full.
Well, not only that, but if it's black, you keep it full. If it's got cream and sugar in it, you don't fill it right up. You just make sure that it stays warm. Because each time that you put more coffee in it, they have to do more work. So you just watch it till it gets about halfway, and then you fill it up. So I increased their tips, and then the other thing that we wanted to have a full ride scholarship, because at 4th grade we had promised her, if you get a full ride, we'll get you any kind of car you want.
Any kind.
And that's what people say. They say, any kind of car. I said, yeah. Yep. If she doesn't get the kind of car that we want her to have, then we didn't raise her right.
Yeah.
So we go into her senior year, and she finally makes the choice, and she gets a full ride. So she's wanting this new car. Well, she'd grown up with the idea that freshman year, you don't get a car. So then she figured out, well, what you gonna do with my car? I said, I'm gonna buy it and put it in the garage. And, you can look at it when you come home, weekend. So she said, okay, well, I'll wait till next year. So the year before, I had gone to the car dealership because we had decided what kind of car that she should have, and it was a Jeep.
Yeah.
Well, she grew up driving her mother's old Camaro,
sporty,
and she wanted the new Camaro, but she had a brother-in-law, not godson, our godson. They were real close, but she figured out, well, if I get this Camaro, he can't fit in there because he's a large man.
Big guy.
So she figured out, well, maybe I'm about to get something different. So we went all around these cars and came back to the Jeep dealer. And the owner, because I talked to him the year before about this is the kind of car our daughter's going to get for college. And he was like, we look young to him. And he was, all right. But when we came back there and his daughter was running the show, and I said, you tell your dad that we back here to pick up that Jeep. He could not believe it. He could not believe it. But we figured out that you get this brand new Jeep, you take care of it, and then first thing you get out of college, you won't have to buy a
You
car.
won't have that,
Yeah.
you know, because most of us have that expense when we go buying a
So I
car.
said, you don't be taking it too
And
long.
Michael did a great job of teaching her. She becomes his son, of teaching her on what to do and how to take care of the car. When he says take care of it, it's more than just giving it, washing it. She knows how to check all that, you know, the motors and stuff.
She had to do that and cut the yard.
Yeah,
I
she
didn't
taught her how to.
necessarily want her to be dependent on
Yeah.
men, and, you know, because I know what I was thinking they couldn't do with her. So I want her to be able to select a man that could do what I'm doing, trying to do, and improve with her mom.
Yeah.
So, but in order to do that, she needed to be independent.
Yeah.
And Jenna was pretty strong-headed.
Yeah.
You know, she was real strong-headed, and so.
We taught her that.
So when she got to college, she had the full ride. She had a brand new car, which most of her classmates didn't know because she was too cheap to buy gas, so she really didn't
She didn't
drive.
drive it. And there was no reason at OU to be driving around campus.
Yeah.
You know.
And then when she did start driving, she charged them gas money. So, but she was sweet, and but we tried to make sure that she have all the things that I wanted to have and she wanted to have, including $1,000 dress for what do you call it, school queen.
Oh, she was Miss Booker T. There were certain things that we were not gonna go the Mike Pierce cheap way. We were gonna, check it out and Jennifer and I went all around town and found the dress that she loved, and I said, don't let your dad get in your head. We're gonna get what you like, because this is a one-time opportunity and I want you to feel beautiful standing up there. And he says this stuff now, but he was not negative during that time period. He was very
she came up in my office and she said, Daddy, and I thought, oh hell. So she wanted to make a deal. She said, Daddy, if I achieve, she had the goal list that she'd had since 4th grade. If I achieve 95% of this goal, then will you get me the dress that I want? So I said, talk to me tomorrow. So I go up to the school and find out what kind of dress. It's a wedding dress. And I was like, you're kidding me. I have 4 sisters.
It looks like a queen.
So I know how much a wedding dress costs. So she made the deal, and I agreed to the deal. So we went out and bought a $1,000 dress and said, Booker T, Miss Hornet is a big deal. I mean, they put the picture on the wall forever. And, we went to the football game.
Mm-hmm.
My sisters have been queen at my old high school. And people going, congratulations. I was like, congratulations for what? Weren't you Mrs. Hornet's dad? I went, well, yeah. And they're like, well, congratulations. I said, ain't getting no money.
That was him. I was, yes, I'm mom, yay.
So she
it was
Miss
fun.
Hornet,
It was a lot of fun.
and
And well deserved.
But I guess the whole thing was that living life can be as happy as your smile.
Mm-hmm. And we donated the dress to, oh gosh, at the time, I can't remember, it was some place that collected wedding dresses and then would donate them to people who couldn't afford. So we donated it to that organization. It was some place that Jennifer found herself.
I didn't mind the kindness, but you couldn't write it off. Didn't get a dime off.
Well, what did she end up majoring in?
Accounting.
She took after her dad. Not
So yours
mom.
was accounting too?
No.
No, he can count. I just can't count.
Yeah, but we had we were PTA presidents at elementary school, and we had this program to get kids mentally developed for the different activities. So we had a counting program, we had a law program where Mama Bear and Daddy Bear, or whatever, 3 bears followed
They
the court.
actually did.
We went to a courtroom and they
actually did
case.
the court. Yeah, the kids.
And we had sales. We went to a Jaguar dealership, and he's telling them how to sell, what things you need to know, and everything. And of the 4 programs that we had, we got the 15, 16 kids. They picked their careers that they're in today.
Yeah.
From those programs.
Because they did moot court, sales.
Yeah. And we did, what was that? Well, she picked up accounting. We didn't know why, but she picked up accounting. And then she went to OU and got a master's in accounting.
CPA passed the first time?
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Yes, she did.
She didn't take the CPA because we wanted her to go to the University of Michigan.
That's right.
Where it's a part of their curriculum.
That's right.
OU and Boyne couldn't get it changed where the CPA was a part of the curriculum. So she got her master's in accounting.
In accounting too.
And then she got pregnant and had my grandson.
No, she worked for the Continental Airline. Remember?
Oh yeah, she worked for 3 or 4 different
companies, and then
and she worked for accounting firm,
Continental,
and then Continental, and then she worked for a couple of independent companies, and now I think she's talking about switching jobs again.
Yeah,
she done the opportunity to pass her by.
Yeah, we taught her well.
And even if she doesn't, she will try for it.
Yeah, she doesn't use excuses.
And then she's got a grandson. He's paying back. I mean, he's very expensive.
He's 10. He is so her. He is,
Yeah, and it's really funny.
We love it.
He likes to bargain, and she
did too.
She lets him bargain more than we let her bargain. So it's kind of fun to see him bargain for what he wants.
He'll negotiate, and he comes up with, he knows the approach. He knows what, and so she'll listen, and then they'll discuss it, and most of the time he'll pretty much get where. Then she'll call us and go, "Okay, your grandson just talked me into."
Yeah, when we first got married, I promised her 3 things: that she'd be able to go to Hawaii, she'd be able to have a Jaguar, and that she would go to Germany, where she lived about 3 years.
Nope, 8.
What?
8. We did 2 tours in Germany.
Well,
yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So I'm finally getting to an era where I can get these things achieved. We got the Jaguar. She kept it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 95, 100 miles per hour.
I'm the driver. Okay, so Michael. Okay, because he never left Oklahoma City. He's not he's an in-town driver.
Right.
We always drove from Georgia over to California up, so I learned how to drive on the expressway. And you don't drive 10 miles an hour on the expressway. So when we go to Norman, I drive, okay? Because now in town, he is a much better in-town driver than I am. But
you get to blow the dust out.
Yes.
Yes. So we got the Jaguar, and then the Hawaii trip came up.
I forgot about it. He had promised me Hawaii because we just did that.
And grandkid, I was talking to him. He told me, "Well, Baba," that's what he calls me. "You gotta take me and Mommy." I said, "No, I don't." "Yes, you do."
And I was like, yeah.
So we all went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And he had a blast.
Yes, we all had a blast. He did.
And so I think she let me off on going to Germany.
No, not yet.
We don't But
You may not have to go.
he's
Me
barred
and my
him to
grandson
go,
will go.
you know. But he's gonna be a well-rounded kid.
Yeah.
He may be the next lawyer in the family.
Yes.
If he's negotiating.
Yes,
this
he
early,
know.
too.
I mean, he is really good negotiator, and he knows. He watches people, so like he knows how to get him in trouble. He'll go, Gigi. He calls me Gigi. Gigi, Baba did not eat his lunch, and he knows that it's important to me. If I fix you something to eat, I expect you to eat it. And so then Michael will go, you ratted me out. And so Pierce will go, I didn't rat you out, Baba. I just let Gigi know that you didn't eat the lunch that she spent so much time fixing.
That's it. And when he was younger, I hate peas. So I'd eat stuff like that because
Trying to encourage him to.
But now the little booger just, he tells all the time. So I'm like, boy. And, but, I think he's going to be a well-rounded kid. He's nice. He's just like his mama in class when Jennifer was
Does really
elementary. She always had 95%, whatever. He scores 95, 97%. But he talks. And so he gets kudos for not having been written up for talking.
Yeah.
But
And that's not really his fault because we are teaching him to say what's on his mind. So he's just he's trying to figure out how to,
boy, talks too much.
Yeah, not to, when I can talk and when I cannot talk. So.
Yeah, but he's learning how to love people, learning how to respect people.
He knows who Santa Claus is too.
Yeah.
Now that was, I was wondering if
he does.
if he sees you in the.
And he respects it though.
Yeah.
He sees it as an honor that his grandfather is Santa.
Mm-hmm.
But and he doesn't say my Baba is Santa. He just says I know who Santa is, and I love him. Kind of thing. So.
Yeah, yes. And his mama had it, and his grandma had it. That I know everything. but I think between my daughter raising him and she not married anymore, but she has a male friend that is quite mature.
Yeah.
That I kind of like about his sensibility.
He has a great respect. He and Pierce have good respect for each other.
They play chess together. They play games together, and he shows the respect for his mom, my daughter, and so Pierce is learning how to be a real man. It's not about the ordering. It's not about pushing around. He's learning the gentle way.
It's about talking and saying what you think.
Yeah.
And you notice his name is Pierce. When our daughter, she actually had him here in Tulsa. We helped deliver him. And so when Michael, I actually was in the room. When Michael came in the room, she said, Dad, his name is Pierce. Because Michael was like, my last name is going to be gone. His first, she goes, Dad, his name is Pierce Gonzalez. His first, so you have not lost your name. And so he only goes by, I don't ever hear him say
And then
his
my daughter being smart, but tell me, now you have a boy. I said, now I got 2 boys.
Yeah. That's true. And that is so true.
But yeah, it's been a learning experience for my daughter and carrying on tradition of both our families.
Yeah.
Of being a family and communicating to one another. When you're in a family, there's no need to harbor ill will.
No.
We used to tell you got 5 minutes to get rid of that attitude. But we're living, and grandson always says, Baba, I'm living the best. What's this?
Best life, best.
What's it?
Best
Best
of,
life. Or
yeah, best
like
of my
that.
life, yeah.
Because
and my mama, he always tells us his mother is his hero.
Yeah.
which she is. I mean, and so one of the things I was sharing with our Jennifer, I said, Jennifer, children, that people misunderstand. Children see you from as soon as they're babies. They start watching their surroundings, the people around them. I said, so Pierce has been watching you since he was born. He knows you're the one who's feeding him. You're the one who's helping him with his homework, who's driving him all over the city of Houston. He sees you talking to his teachers and his coaches and fixing his meals and stuff. And so he can read you better than your dad and I can at this point, because he's actually watching you. And that's one of the things, being Mr. and Mrs. Claus, we sit there. Now Santa has to engage with the children on his lap, but I'm watching the kids in the line and trying to see watching the families and seeing, grandma, she's not, you can tell her back's not feeling well. So I'll tell one of the helpers, go take a chair over there to grandma. Or the kids, what I like are what I call the preteen boys, and they're standing there like, why am I here? Whatever,
Yeah.
Like that. And I'm like, when he gets up here, and then they get up, and so just to mess with them, I'll say, I know you don't want to sit on Santa's lap. You can say, no, ma'am, I'll sit on Santa's lap so I can take a picture. And then they're the ones who tell Santa their story in 5 minutes. How can I help my mom? What can I do to my mother's not feeling well? And so this is the man I fell in love with. The first time I heard him say that, he goes, are you in school? Yes, sir. Well, you can make sure that you do your homework and that you have great grades. That will make your mother one less thing for your mother to worry about. Do you have a bed? Yes, sir. He said, well, you can make sure you clean up your room and make sure that you make up your bed. And you can see their body go, oh yeah, I can do all of that stuff. Okay.
That's the Christmas.
Thank you, Santa. And then that's when I cry.
But it's amazing what they ask for.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. That's one
Yes.
One of the things that, being on the school board, I always talk to the kids. And then when the mothers group honored me as far as being Santa Claus, I
And
never
he truly
wanted,
sees it as an honor.
I never wanted to rush these kids.
Yeah.
If they got something to say, whoa, let's finish what you got to say. And they tell you the darndest thing. It's not about them. It's about what they want from their mom,
Their
dad,
grandma,
their sisters. Or tragedy, dad lost his job,
Yeah.
mom lost his job, or sister had to go live with some other dad, on Christmas Day. So, you listen to those kids and you wonder how people can be mean to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that does get my temper up when I see adults being mean to kids. I can adjust because they're not educated. Kids being mean to kids. But adults being mean to kids.
Yeah.
I used to take my daughter Christmas Eve when she was living here. Me and her would just go walking.
Yeah.
And let her see the agitated families.
The pressure.
And I said, look, baby, I said, feel lucky. That you're not being pushed around, agitated, wanting this, wanting that, things that you don't necessarily need, but you want that. So when I got the mother's group, I was like, oh, I gotta make sure I'm ready. I take walks, I take all my pills right, so that I can be there. I hate shots. I go to my doctor and she give me all these shots.
And he truly is not a shot.
Yeah, my doctor, who I've had for over 30 years, she goes, are you gonna holler? But, you listen to those kids and the stories that they tell. It touches your heart. And, and then the things like some of the kids that are handicapped, they want to, you make a combination. I've gone down the stairs and and taking pictures with them. I brought them up the stairs, picked them up, brought them up the stairs to take pictures with Santa Claus. Because even though they may be handicapped or bad legs or whatever, they still have the same desires.
Exactly.
So I try my darndest to make sure that they go and they ask for mama job, daddy job, sister, come home,
How do you respond to some of that when you out of your control? Some of that.
Most of it is through talk. I learned through talking with some of the elementary kids. But what you do is you just listen.
Listen and empower them. That's when you tell them, clean up your room so mom, while she's looking for a job, she doesn't have to worry about, do your schoolwork so that while she's looking for a job, she doesn't have to worry about you, not doing your schoolwork.
And most people think kids want a Tonka truck, big. That's not what they ask for.
No.
And they write you these letters.
Yeah, in fact, you got a couple
and they're proud of them. So, I always look around their hands to see if they got, or sometimes mother who's downstairs looking up at the pictures in a rush, she still got the letter in her hand. I go, no, come on up here, mom, and give me that
we keep
letter.
A bag and put the letters.
And the kid notices it. And then the other thing is, I'll make mom sometimes come up there and take a picture.
Yeah. Or grandma.
Grandma. Take a picture with Santa and the grandkid or the kid. So it's so much joy. Kids can give you such a reward without cash that I really enjoy it. The day I have to retire, or mother's release me, it's gonna hurt,
Has it changed much since the first time you did it versus the most recent?
No, they have not.
No.
You have.
Yeah. I never dreamed that having 250 kids.
Well, it's actually escalated.
Yeah, it would affect me that much, And kids, they want the same thing. They want to be appreciated
and recognized.
They want what they want, and they don't have to be exact.
And in this world, they're so used to adults rushing them. You can see that's one of the things that we do. Our Santa elves help because we're up on a stage. So they know the two ladies that we specifically talk to. They've heard this conversation. They know to help them up on the stage and take time and figure out, talk to grandma, mom, or however they want the pictures and bring them over to us. And sometimes, like I said, I'm sitting there watching them. So a lot of times by the time they get up there, I already kind of know what's going on. And I'll say to Santa, okay, we need to, but when they put the child on the stage, say, well, he wants to talk to Santa. And then we keep a red Santa bag with the letters, and we promise them that Santa's going to read the letters, and Santa has never broken that promise. We read the letters, later when we get home. But the main thing is not, in this world, the children feel rushed. So the main thing is to let them know you're not rushed. You don't need to rush. We all have to follow the rules, so you have to get in line. And then Santa is here to talk to you and hear and listen to you. And it takes them 2 seconds to realize, oh, this is true. And then that's when they, I hear them telling Santa their story, or they'll go, I love these little boys especially. Can you bring grandma up here to take a picture with us? And when I look, I'm looking down at grandma, how to, and I'll say, grandma, grandma. And then my helper knows to go down and, grandma, please. And, sometimes, no. I said, grandma. And then I'll walk over and say, grandma, this is Santa's request. You don't want to make Santa unhappy. And then I'll go down and bring her up. And then, once they get up there and they take the picture, grandma, we've literally had them come back with their pictures, and grandma go, thank you, because that's the first time they've been with their grandkids and had a family picture, if you will, you know. But the main thing is to make sure that that the kids know that they got all the time they need with Santa. And we realize the last couple times it's been 600-700 folks standing in line. But Santa is there for them. That, you know, and then we've got such great entertainment from all over the city of Tulsa that keeps them busy too, because we've got dancers, singers, all kinds of folks. So they're getting to see a show while they're standing in line. It's not like they're just standing there waiting. Yeah. No, there's all kinds of stuff going on.
And then during the picture taking, I'll take a break and I'll walk among them.
Yes.
Because kids are anxious.
Yes.
And so I'll walk and speak to them, and they come up and hug you and stuff. And at one near the end, because I got bad legs, I'll dance with the kids out there on the floor and stuff. And so it's very rewarding. And then the other thing is those last 4 kids, Mom and Dad is tired. They want to rush. Yeah. And I said, nope. So, but don't you have to go? Nope. And so you take whatever it takes, those last 4 or 5 kids, to show them the goodness of Santa Claus. Yeah. And so I'll spend whatever time it takes, even though I may be missing my football game.
Yeah. And our Santa elves, they understand that. The 4 ladies that are up there, they understand our philosophy. So it's not just Santa and Mrs. Claus. They know how to, you know, time it and fit the stage.
And they're breaking down the stage, and Santa and the elves and Mrs. Claus were out there, and we're still taking pictures with my kids. And what the joy in their heart, or the joy in the grandmother's heart, who never got to take a picture with Santa Claus. Yeah. You know, and even the little cutie girls that don't want to sit in my lap.
Yeah.
I practice these days. You have to be careful. I sit them right here. I put my hand out here, so it doesn't look like my hand is somewhere it shouldn't be. So I'm conscious of that, because that can ruin a picture. Because many of these pictures will go on their mantle
for years and years.
That's right. So you don't want Santa looking, you know, pervertish. And so, you know,
you wear gloves.
Yeah, I wear gloves. Each year I take 15, 20 minutes for 2 days and sit in the mirror so that I can see how my hands go. Yeah. So that it's a straight up nice Santa Claus picture, where most people have how Santa should behave in the picture. And then
we're prepared for them to, Mrs. Claus, you know, sometimes they don't want to sit on Santa's lap and it has more, I think, to do with the beard. So that's fine. Come sit on my lap, right? Yeah. And then they'll look at Santa and smile. But So we try to accommodate whatever way works for them.
If your kids cry, come back. Yeah. Take them down, come back. Yeah. And when he's ready, I'll be here. Yeah. So just take your time. And but you know, I've had Mrs. Queens. I had assistant superintendent sit in my lap. Yes. Although later on she goes, "Well, you were board president. What do you think I was going to do?" I said, no. You know your kids wanted to see their mama
take a picture.
Take a picture with Santa Claus.
Remember the young man? He had a disability.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And so he was with a wheelchair. So you know we see, and so Santa was going to get up and go, and his mom said, "No, Santa, sit back down." And that young man managed to walk up the 3 steps by himself and walk over to Santa and he said, "Mom, I did it." When I eyeballed we had to take a break on that one because he was so proud.
Because year before he wasn't able to climb the stairs.
Exactly. That he was able to come up and visit Santa by himself. And of course we took pictures with him, and then we made Mom and I think Grandma was down there, and they were like, "No, what about?" And I said, help them come up the
Yeah,
stairs so we
right.
can get this.
But he had been, he
Yeah.
wasn't physically able
Oh my
to
God,
climb
he
the
was
stairs.
so excited.
And the year before, we went downstairs
Mm.
and took a picture of me in his wheelchair. But then when that year, he had been working on it, and he'd been telling his mom how he was gonna walk up to Santa Claus.
Yes.
So when I saw him and I recognized him, I was gonna get up and I said, no.
No.
So he sat up there, and boy, he was so
Oh my
proud,
God.
so proud.
But that's the kind of memories that make, is why we do that, because that didn't cost us anything. All Santa had to do was just be there, and respect and love on it. And hopefully, why is not hopefully, I'm pretty sure that's in his memory forever. So, yeah.
So you have repeat.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
I
sure.
had a grandmother that had 5 or 6
Yeah.
grandkids.
Yes.
And she'd bring them all up there,
Yes.
and we'd take pictures of them. And because they were a blended family, we'd take separate pictures of them,
Yeah.
And we tried to get 2 of them because they had separate households. So, but yeah, had some of that, and then it's really amazing because I got a full beard on, and you basically see my eyes and glasses, and I had ladies come up and says, "You're Santa Claus," and I was like, "How could you tell?" But for a while there, my name was never out there.
Yeah.
And so people didn't know who I was unless they really knew me. It's like a board secretary. I knew that was you. But, dealing with the kids and the grandmas and the great grandmas and kids who never have the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and because they get a picture and they get a book right then and there. And if the picture's not good, they can retake the picture.
And the book and the gifts, the books are all wrapped in gifts, So they're not just getting a book; it's wrapped. It's in Christmas paper. That's something the Mothers Group we do weeks before the event. And what I've noticed also, though, when we first started, it was primarily Black families. Now it's very diverse.
Yeah.
Black, Hispanic, white, and that makes the military brat in me was like, okay, this, and they all respect and love on Santa regardless of their color of their skin, and then they're all telling Santa all these secrets.
And
Yeah.
then when they find out that I'm on the school board, they start talking, telling me this and that. And I had one lady who was complaining about the school, and she ended up being the PTA secretary. And she sent me a note to the service center that she was involved and that she was PTA secretary. And so, you get a lot of winning on that day, and it's really joy. I had superintendent one time plays banjo.
You have a picture of him playing the banjo.
Yeah, he said, "Do you think they want to hear me play banjo?" I said, "Oh yeah, sure. Those kids know you." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "You will get a big audience."
Do you know Hannibal Johnson?
Mm-mm.
Okay, he's a renowned writer here in Tulsa, and Hannibal comes every year and stands in the back. He says he comes just to enjoy the environment, and he has no children. He's not even married, but he says it just brings back memories from when he was young. He goes, but more importantly, that it's the happiest atmosphere that he's been in. He goes, and that what a wonderful way to start the holiday. I said, Hannibal, you can come up. He goes, no, I just want to just take it in and see the happiness from the kids and the children. I said, okay, well, I'm not going to tell anybody you here because, then you have a TV camera in your face.
And even a little middle school, sophisticated girls.
Oh, yeah. I love those.
I make them come up here and get a picture with Santa Claus. And then my
you know how you are when you're middle school.
Studley boy, sit on my lap. This is for your mama. This ain't for you.
And then with the girls, I'll go, okay, you need to act Smile, because you're gonna get in trouble with your mother. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we get a lot of smiles from kids that
Normally don't smile.
Don't
want to
smile.
smile.
don't want to, and
Well, you have
Why are
to
we
practice
here?
that yourself before you go, don't you? Work those muscles.
well, what I do is I don't chew any gum.
Yeah.
Because that's working my muscles, so I don't want to be tired. And
But you don't realize, well, just like we're sitting here laughing now, when you're happy, you don't, it's not a
Yeah.
chore. It's, it's a natural.
And how long is the event? Like a couple
I
hours?
get there
Well,
about 8.
Yeah,
She gets there at 7:30. I
Yeah.
get there about 8.
it
And the
opens up at
program
9,
Opens up at 9.
and we shut down at 1. So the
1.
doors actually shut at 1.
And
9 in the morning.
9 in the
not
morning.
at night.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
9 in the
It's our
morning.
morning.
9 in the
and
morning.
they say shut down. If there's no kids outside the door, then
Yeah.
we shut down. But if there's any kids
They all, we
outside the
bring
door,
them in.
and then one year I put back my uniform on, and then one kid, his sister or brother was not going to be in town,
Yeah.
and they had taken 3 years of pictures with the 3 kids, so I had them come over the house and
Yeah.
take pictures.
Yeah.
You know.
So do you arrive when they're already in the room, or do you
I
there and
arrive
then they
before
come in
Before. And we don't have on our outfits. We come in, well, actually, we at Greenwood, we come in through the back. So not through where the door, the crowd is, but we come in through the back and then go in and get dressed. But we're not dressed till we get back there.
So the first time they see me is when I come out.
And Santa comes out with this big bell.
Ho ho ho.
Do your ho
Well, you
ho.
can do-
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas!
And then he walks
So-
the floor.
And all the kids
Yeah, they start yelling.
And even one of the mamas, I said, I know you excited. but it's really amazing because to walk from I guess the desk to here when we take a break takes about 30 minutes because I got kids pulling on me and
Yeah.
stuff like that, because they've been in a line for, sometimes an hour or 2.
Yeah.
And we rush kids through, but we don't rush them through.
Yeah.
If they still got something to say, I'll listen.
Yeah.
And what do you think it is about Santa that gets them? I don't know, that it's not nostalgia, but what's the
Well, one
pull?
of the things
What's the
that
pull?
I always thought was that it's the one symbol on TV and church and everywhere else that's happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You never
Everybody likes to be happy.
Yeah.
And if you can deliver that happiness, especially to a kid, not only appreciate it, but they remember
They
it.
remember it.
Because I still remember when my uncle's church, they had a Christmas program, and you had this bag of candy that every kid in Wisconsin. I still remember going to that.
An orange.
Yeah.
And an orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, brings me back to my memory, and then you see those kids light up. You just can't resist them.
And the parents seeing them go,
They relax.
I did this and it didn't cost me
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, because it's all free.
It's all free, yeah.
Okay.
And they got to see all this entertainment that they might have had to pay to see anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're getting a free present, and the books that we give, these are really great books, And then, but more importantly, they get to spend time with Santa, and there was no rush date for 5 to 10 minutes. They got to be special to this man from the North Pole. Let the kid in you come out.
So it's a fun deal, and the mothers group that work, they enjoy it, and then I keep saying mine, but they got a lot of middle schools that work the tables in some high schools, and they just have a blast. It ain't none of that pretend stuff and all that. So and you watching them. I only had one incident. I wear pants like these up under my Santa suit, and the pants fell down. I'm talking to him. I didn't know it. And one of them started laughing. And I was like, what are you laughing at? Santa Claus. My pants fell down. I was so embarrassed. And one of the entertainment moms said, don't worry about it, Santa. You okay? But them girls, they had a blast. They had a blast. And anytime I walk, when I take my little tour, they go, Santa, you got them buttoned up? You got them buttoned up? Girl. But, and then you see the entertainment, you see the new entertainers.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it, and because I know some of them recognize me and I go by the school and they goes, that's Santa Claus, that's Santa Claus. And so it's just a positive memory, because not everybody has positive memories in elementary through high school.
I was going to show a picture of Mrs. Lloyd, one of our oldest.
Yeah.
She just turned 90.
This
Brenda's mother. And she's one of our biggest supporters. She just turned 90. This is her 90th birthday party.
Her and her husband used to play Santa.
Santa, yes. Yeah.
So are you not number 2 then? Or
I'm number
4.
Okay, cool.
And
you started roughly when you thought
1996, yeah.
20. It's been over 20 years.
Yeah, it's been about 26 years that we've been doing it, which I didn't realize that because, we just,
it's fun.
It's fun.
It's not work, it's
and
fun.
And Michael actually, I don't know, we've been into it about 5 years and he said, please let the mothers group know that I begged them to let me do this. And I said, Michael, you're the best Santa they've had. They're worried that you're going to want to quit. He goes, not. As long as I'm breathing.
I am thankful that they chose me.
He goes.
So how did that come about?
Well, it was let's see, I joined the mothers group. Our neighbor was a member. And then I knew Brenda through Junior League. And so my daughter and Jennifer was in high school then. We'd volunteer and they were at Bruticil the first year I did it. But we just volunteered to go set up, because that's an issue, you got to set up, and then being there to help guide people and stuff. And so we saw I think the first year I did it, Brenda and her husband did it. But Brenda likes to, she likes to be in the audience so she can navigate stuff. Anyway, and I can't remember the other 2 Santas, but I remember the one right before Michael and I'm standing out there helping. I was like, he's rushing those kids. I wasn't real happy about it. In any event, he didn't want to do it the next year. And so, Jennifer, my daughter, and I said, your dad would be perfect. And of course, Brenda and the mothers group ladies, they all know him because he had been there setting up. Because it's a process. We have to bring things from storage for the decorations. And Michael was always the first one there. In fact, he'd get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, go to the storage and bring all the stuff there. So I said, Brenda, Michael and I'll do it. And so Brenda was like, perfect, okay.
And then
did you have to get your own suit, or did they pass the suit?
No.
They gave me a suit.
Yeah.
And I made some adjustments.
Okay.
But and
how about the beard?
No, it's covered with the.
They gave him a white, because you can show her. And Michael
painted them and done all kinds of stuff.
He made it silver to fit his face more like
that.
And we were young and the hair at first, but see now that we're 71, so now we're more sense-aged than we were 20-some years ago.
Yeah. So.
And do they pull it?
Yeah. Some of them pull it.
But it doesn't. It's attached well enough for it.
Yes.
It's got straps on it, so they can't pull it down. Most of them are real gentle, and they just kind of.
Yeah. And they mostly do this.
Want to make sure it's real.
Yeah.
Touch it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. and then they
So it's been the same suit for 20-something years? That's
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
No, we've got actually two. This one, the same suit. We had two. We have two.
Okay.
So I switch it out, but
but
the same Santa suit.
you know, but you
Same
know,
boots though.
And then for yours, what do you?
I have a Mrs. Claus dress, actual, full. You'll see it, the full gala dress, and then I wear the Santa hat and the little cape thingy on. And when I was younger, I wore boots with heels on it. Now I wear flat shoes. But other than that, but it's very comfortable actually.
you know, I'm always wearing jeans on it, which
Yeah.
a lot of ladies, they didn't know it for a couple of years. They thought I had underwear. No,
No,
you
yeah.
wear underwear around kids.
Yes.
You know, and so I said, no, I wear jeans.
Yeah.
And
Because
it's
if there's
hot, though, doesn't
yeah.
it? It's kind of hot.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
We got a fan.
Oh, that's right. We have a fan that they set us up, and we've got these chairs, and you'll see the chairs, and then we've got a fan like that one that's blowing on us, and we put the bag that we put the letters in front of it so the kids can't see it, and we've got bottles of water, but I'm not ever really been uncomfortable.
But I guess it was one year I didn't do it because of my legs were really bad.
Oh yeah, you had
And I got a substitute, and I trained him.
I was He did a great job. I was there with, I was Mrs. Claus, so he did a really good job though.
But,
It's my gig.
yeah, I'm gonna be selfish.
Well, once you spent the 4 or 5 hours doing that and heard all of that and internalized some of that, how do you, I don't know, self-care after that?
You go home, take off all the clothes, shower, and get a little something to eat, and then go to sleep.
Take a nap. Because see, we hadn't slept typically for
Been
2
up
days.
about 7 o'clock
Yeah.
that morning, and head on out. And one year, it was around my birthday, and they took me to OU Nebraska game.
Oh yeah.
But I could barely walk out the stadium. My legs were so bad, because you have people sitting on your legs. It's a pretty deal. But it's all worth it.
It's
I
worth it,
gotta make sure
yeah.
I don't catch no cold, nothing before the
Gosh.
event.
And hopefully not after.
Yeah.
Well, now after that's a little bit.
The first year that I didn't do the pre-shots and post-shots and checkups afterwards, and I got really sick.
Yeah.
And I knew that because I worked in schools. Kids infect you.
Yes, they do.
My mother taught me that. My sisters, all of them in education. And so I didn't, and I got sick as a dog. And so now I go before the event, make sure I got all my shots taken. I go and get my all my bloods and stuff checked before afterwards. Make sure I'm okay. And then, like I say, we take off the clothes and get them clean. Shower and take a nap and get something to eat.
I usually still get a cold. It's nothing major, but I usually still get a little bit of a cold.
And I used to do a lot of walking and drinking water starting the week before.
Yeah.
So I've been in the best of shape.
Yeah.
Watch any Christmas movies to get in the mood?
No, we
Just
listen
the
to
excitement of the day.
the excitement of the day. Yeah, I was going to share it. This is at Gilcrease Hills.
That's the two of you.
Yeah, at Gilcrease Homeowners Association had needed a Santa to come
that's
visit.
one you can send me.
Oh, okay.
But
Do you in your head know, okay, if this happens, it's time for me to step back and let someone else do it? Or we still got 10 or 20 years to do it before we think about that?
Actually, that's a good question because I actually hadn't thought of that because we're so concentrated.
I know when I can't
age
stand
out or whatever.
can't
Physically
stand,
can't do it anymore.
And we're not going to put the kids at risk, we'll know when. But I hadn't really thought about it because praise the Lord.
But I
his
know when I
knees.
can't stand and walk, and just the last time that I did step out because my legs were bad, I couldn't walk. And see, and you have to stand up because sometimes you have to stand up and take a picture, especially get some of the what I call the little cuties. They don't want to be seen sitting in Santa's lap, so you put them down in your chair and you stand up around them. And you put your arm around the kid and the mom. So you have to make those adjustments. You know, I sat on the edge, I stood up, I've done all kinds of ways to make sure I get that picture with that kid.
Had you played Santa before this group? The first time you donned a suit?
No.
One time.
Yeah, I think so. My five.
Where?
I said that was the first time.
Yeah, it was the first time. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it happen.
We've been.
But see,
But the first time you'd ever put on a Santa suit.
Yeah.
I read somewhere where you had done it at OU.
Yeah, I did.
With the
Fraternity, yeah. My fraternity was very. I was
active.
first polemarch, so I was very into those community activities.
Yeah.
So when I became president, I was going to do activities, and what we did, we collected food for housing units.
Yeah.
Mom was preaching on the city, said these kids need help, food and everything. So we had Catholic Sweethearts, who were auxiliary women's group, and we went and sang.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
that was.
they went and sang, and then we had gave them Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners.
Yeah, it was
for the families, and back then it was a lot of food because it was enough to feed a family of 8.
Yeah.
You know, and so we had Santa soup. I forgot all about that.
And you've also volunteered for the Lockett Thanksgiving Foundation. The Lockett family has Thanksgiving dinner at the Gilcrease Hills homeowners. Christmas, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Christmas. And football, and they give out packages of food, turkey, whatever. But Santa's there, so the kids get to come and say hi. Well, and basically and Santa and Mrs. Claus, all we do is just show up dressed and there to say hi, and they do all the work and stuff. So
because they wrap gifts and everything.
Yeah,
it's nice gifts.
Some nice gifts, really nice.
Do
gifts.
other places try to get you to come do it?
No, not really.
Just the homeowners association is that picture I just showed you.
And that's because the guy that's over it was a fraternity brother of mine. So
that's right.
So he already knew about playing Santa. And his kids, not trading them. His boys were older when I started doing Santa, but I made them come by and take a picture for their mama.
Yeah, and they volunteered. We asked them; they came and volunteered when Jim.
But it's you do things for my kids and the elderly. It makes a difference in your heart and the lifespan, and makes a difference to them. So it's very rewarding. And
do you sense a change when you put on the suit?
Yeah.
Yes. I know I do. Yes.
Don't want to make no mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No adult language.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say because I like using adult language. So then I have to go, okay, no adult language. You have on Mrs. Claus's outfit now.
Because with that beard and everything, you can't see down. And one of the girls was walking me down, and she wasn't really guiding. I guess she was looking somewhere. I almost fell. I almost said S-H-I-T.
Yeah.
You say that?
Yes.
Yeah. But for the most part, it's so you walk around there and you see people who they don't have kids. They just come to see the event.
Yes.
And see the entertainment. And it's like Hannibal, the writer. I look for him every year. And he has not missed one.
No. Yeah.
And so it's just so much joy.
Yeah, it's the kindness,
Kindness.
I think, too. People at that time of the year, any time of the year, but
Yeah.
then you just like to see
Mm-hmm.
that
Mhm.
kind.
And COVID threw us off, of course, so we haven't done it since 2021.
You didn't have one last year?
No, we didn't. We tried to
We thought about it.
really seriously.
She's an attorney, so she knows all about those liability.
Yeah, and I didn't want to get and
because it's the worst thing we want to do is
Yeah.
it's because we even thought about Santa and Mrs. Claus standing outside and they driving up, but we just sat here for 2 hours telling you how we engage with the kids,
touching.
so that there's no way you're going to ask a child to sit in a car with Santa standing out there. If they don't get him out, I'm going to open the door and go, come here,
Yeah,
So
she
we're like,
know
no, we don't need to do the drive.
it. I do wear
Through.
plastic gloves and then white
And what gloves, yeah.
So
But still, we don't want to,
How about this year?
Now, we plan on trying to do it this year. This year. I think they have it the first Saturday in December. We haven't, the Mothers Group has not had a meeting about it. We're online. So we're ready if they're ready, But we have other members who take care of securing the Greenwood Center and the photographer and, the entertainment and stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to
organize
do it this year.
And in all the interviews, I let everybody know. I said, I'm not a member of the Mothers Group.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
just
Santa.
honored to be selected.
He's Santa.
And thank God that Brenda and her crew selects me. But
It looks like it would be the 35th time they've, if you hadn't missed it for COVID.
Yeah,
This
it'd be
year's would be the
35th or 36th. Brenda will be able to tell you because she's, the one of the founders.
I was thinking 1989.
89, yes,
So
yes,
35,
yeah.
if I've done
That's
my math right.
amazing how long, because, I told her that early on. I do contracts and stuff.
Well, I'll have to do it.
Yeah.
Or write it down.
But
Yeah, I mean, that's a long
I
time.
forgot I had done it.
yeah, it is. And
Yes.
see,
And if you've
especially
been doing
during those times, there wasn't any black Santa Claus.
Yeah,
when you've done it for almost 30 years, then
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
started in 96.
almost. And which, until the day, I hadn't really thought of it because, you always, our age, we tend to look forward. And so not thinking about what we've done in the last 10, 15, years or 20 years or so. But yeah, and each year it has been amazing. I remember the first year after COVID, we didn't have it. I actually cried because I missed the kids and I missed the opportunity. But then in my head, my legal side said, yeah. And then everybody comes and everybody, this is when COVID first started, and then everybody dies. How are you gonna feel then? So I was like, yeah, that was a good decision.
You have it outside. I mean, that was one of the options they would give us during COVID if they have it outside.
But yeah.
Because I had checked into making a glass box. Where
Yeah.
you can buy. But they said,
And the kids probably would have been better, having talked to my grandson, they probably would have been better about him sitting in a box than us adults, maybe. Because they did our grandson understood the COVID protocols more than I do. I mean, even now, he's like, you did not wipe that basket down. You need to wipe it down. Now you're going to have to wipe, I'm like, oh, okay, he does know the protocols. So they may have been okay with it. It would have been us adults. Santa and Mrs. Claus would have been like, this is crazy.
You have kids?
I've got 2 grandkids and
There's nothing worse than seeing one of them sick.
No.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And you'll get it because
they're
they're going to infect you.
And it'll be worse than theirs.
That's like for a long time after I got out of school, but I wasn't involved in the schools. So I got on a couple of minutes and went back. The smell. It didn't take me less than a week before I got sick. I see you little nasty kids.
Yeah.
It's just part of it.
Yeah.
Well, do you keep the Santa letters year after year? You kept
Yes.
them all? You kept them all?
I I have an office at home, and the last 5 years of Mother's Group information and letters are all in this one chair. I just because I was looking for the information for you, and I was like, oh, all of it. But yes, we keep them. But more importantly, though, Santa and I read them. Generally, the next either that evening or the next day, we go through them because that was a promise we made to the kids, and so we keep our kids, and I mean we keep our promise. And sometimes, like the one couple that I gave you, I'll share with the Mother's Group, but let them.
Enough to identify who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could write a letter back.
Yeah. And I've thought about that, but then I was, one.
Nobody knows of Santa writing letters back.
Yeah, and I'd have to put our address on, and it just.
Yeah, that's true.
I was no. So I was like, no, we gave them a,
Well, they probably make you cry all over again, don't they? Some of them.
Yes.
Some of them.
Yes, they definitely.
Yeah.
People
People can be mean to my kids. Like I say, my temper goes way up.
But it can't while you're in the suit.
Oh, no. Well, there's no reason to while we're in the
reason,
suit because nobody,
I've been in meetings.
He's talking about,
School board meetings, and you probably been in it when people say some of the darndest things about kids. I'm like, what you doing here? As a matter of fact, I was in a state national meeting one time up in San Francisco, and a guy made idiotic statement about the kids, and I blurted it out, and it was all over the convention center.
Let me read this letter. Dear Santa, my name is Kelsey, and I've been good all year. I will leave you cookies and milk. I would like a laptop and Heeley shoes, and a real cell phone and clothes, and a Hannah Montana bike and makeup. And I live at, and gives her address. Love, Kelsey. P.S. My mommy is real sick. If you could please, quote, help her. Dear Santa, my name is Melinda. I am 3 years old. I live at Oswego. What I wish for Christmas is a toy that I can learn from, like my numbers, letters, and play games on it. I am a very smart little girl, and I want to learn Santa. I asked my mommy to help me write my letter to you. Thanks, Melinda. But you see the joy. Look at your face. The joy you get from just. Oh no. So yeah, this every second of what we do here is well worth it. It's brings back memories. It makes you want to be a better person. It just
And I get to see the whole picture sitting up on that stage,
Yes,
including the Mother's Group members
Yes.
who are working their butt off. And the dads that come up there early in the morning at 7, that's one thing Santa didn't have to do.
Anymore,
Do a whole bunch of moving stuff around and everything.
all our decorations we keep in storage. So those guys, we've got Mother's Group husbands who literally, like I said, Michael used to do it, go out to the storage area at 5 o'clock in the morning and bring all of the decorations and get the entire place set up, so it's a team effort for sure. Yeah.
The communities come to expect it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
Yes.
ask about it.
Yes.
And so.
Well, initially, was there some, I don't know, there's some joy in being that one of color for the community in general.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. It was very few. There were some churches that did it, but they never were as good as the Mother's Group. And so we became the favorite in North Tulsa. And then as we began to expand out, and then the Hispanic, Venezuela and Colombia residents started understanding that they were welcome.
They were more than welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like
when I used to go to some of those meetings, most of them realize they're Catholic. You know, you hear about it, but you don't really realize what that means. You know, and it's like, what? Bless his heart. My old man told me, they're American Catholic.
Lord.
I never forget him. He was so racist. He didn't even know it. I spent all that time I met him. I talked to him about 45 minutes. And he was just a nice old man who just didn't know a whole bunch. Yeah.
But those are the kinds of people that if we do what we do, you open their minds, not change their minds, but you open their minds. Because their heart is good. They just don't know, you know. And that's one of the things I learned early on as an Army brat is that, you know, when I go into the classroom, they might look at me like I'm weird, but it's because they didn't know me. So I had to let them get to know me. And they, you know, within a week, they didn't care what color my hair was or what, you know, they liked me for who I was. And they saw that I saw them. And I didn't use that as an excuse. Oh, yeah, because I was, you know, very challenging. I'm going to be the A. My daughter takes after me, too. No, I'm making all A's. You're not going to stop me. That's just how I am. Okay? You know, and the teachers, it's, you know, when I think of some of the teachers that I had and how they would, you know, challenge me and say, Helen, why don't you explain this or that? And I'm like, oh, okay. And, you know, I'd get up there and I'd look out there and some of the guys would be like, who the heck is that? You know, so.
But, you know, people, when I went to OU, we had this integration program in Oklahoma City. And you had Math Center at one school, Science Center at another school. So I had taken physics, which is at Douglas, and I had taken calculus and matrix and trig at the other high school. So when I went to OU, the counselor said, well, we got 2 openings in general math. And I went, what? And so, guess what? My first semester was scholarship, so I was like, well, that's an automatic A. Until one of the counselors that knew me came in there. What are you doing in there? But that was gonna be an easy day. But he had to bring that counselor into their higher up and have him explain why he put a kid that had taken calculus in general, what do they call it, college math?
Yeah.
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 And of course, he told my mama. But anyway.
Being an RA was fun at OU.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the freshman girls, which meant college, you know, the rich girls, you know, and when their parents would bring them, I could tell that, you know, the parents looking at me like, oh, you're her RA? Yes, ma'am. Don't worry, I got her, right? And my first year being an RA, you know, they give us training about folks over drinking, you know, that kind of thing. But the first time these girls were used to being a certain size, which I didn't know anything about. Anyway, my first time of dealing with somebody who almost died on me was a young lady who had not eaten in a month. And, you know, her roommate screamed, you know, so we saved her. But that's when I started understanding that while they are rich and quote unquote entitled, they got some serious problems. And so in my recognizing that as their dorm counselor, then I tried to make sure that I visited with each one of them to kind of let them know that you matter, I see you, and I understand the weight thing. You know, I'm college too, but let's go over to the cafeteria and I'll show you what you can eat and you're not going to gain any weight. Something that I had learned myself. And of course the cafeteria ladies knew me because I always ate Michael did too. We always say all 3 meals there, but you know, and but that was a weird feel to have somebody try to kill. Well, she wasn't trying to kill herself. She just wasn't eating because she was supposed to be a size 2 or something. And that was the first time I'd understood something like, you know, about that. I said, oh, okay. So I'm not having a problem with people taking drugs. I got problems with people not eating, you know. But I always ask for the sorority floor so that I could, because I was learning things too, you know. But it was also, originally it was to let them see me and learn something about me that they didn't know about, you know. So, and they did. A couple of them I still stay in, you know, we do Christmas letters too and stuff, you know.
I guess I'm like, yeah, let's prepare for that because I had a guy from India somewhere never seen snow. So I already had key to his room. So
God, yeah,
me and the fellas, we jumped in, broke in his room, picked him up, took him outside, threw him in the snow. He stayed out there 45 minutes in the snow in his pajamas. He had a ball.
You know, he never forgot that too. You know that.
But you know, kids and people can have fun.
Yeah.
You know, I had a kid's parents drove from deep down in Texas. We had an intramural basketball team. This man had never played organized basketball. He called his parents and said he's going to get to play that day. They drove all the way up here to watch him play. And his mother at the end of the game, as he played, we'd set it up so he could score 2 points. His mother came up there crying, hugging me and the fellas.
I remember that. That was so happy. So happy. I remember.
I said, oh, my goodness. But yeah, you know, adults have fun, but kids are special.
Yeah.
They're definitely special.
And it doesn't take a lot to give them joy.
No.
It really doesn't when you stop and think about it.
No.
Just be nice.
Yeah.
You know, just
and enjoying the moments.
Yeah, the
time.
time.
The time. Exactly. The time. You know, going shopping. We do shopping on Saturday, and he drives me because he drives in the city really well. But you know, when I'm in the store and I see, now that I don't have kids and don't have to rush, and I see the moms or the dads with their kids, you know, and yes, because I'm grandma and I can now, you know, I see the child looking at me and I'll go, and then they'll do that. And so then, you know, but then I make sure to let the parent or guardian, whoever, hey, I'm a grandma, I ain't finna steal your child. I just, oh yeah, you know. But there have been a couple of times where I've seen, you know, the child run out the door. You don't touch other people's childs, but I just go and stand in front of them till mom runs out. And I'm, you know, I said, oh, she wasn't going anywhere. I just, I didn't watch. And, you know, the child would be like, will you move out of my way? And I just walk over whichever direction they went, I went to until the mom came out to, you know.
Hey, Mrs. Claus has got this.
Yeah, I got this. I got this. No, you're not going anywhere, and ain't nobody finna grab you, you know. So, but I do, when I'm in the store, I do, you know, look out for other people's children, and they don't even know. And it's not, you know, okay, that little boy was with this lady. Who's that man? And then you can, when he says, Daddy, okay, I'm gone. But it don't take but 5 seconds, and you know, yeah, I'm not trying to be a hero, but we're talking about somebody's child, and so if nothing else, I'm going to be able to describe you, sir, to the police, and don't make me take my phone out and take a picture of.
Well, as Santa, do you worry about that too? That the child might tell something that you need to pass on to, like abuse or something like that?
Yeah.
Ever got any clues or hints that might be happening?
And my procedure would be, first of all, get Brenda's attention.
Yeah.
And then call a professional.
Yeah.
Has that happened?
No, it hadn't happened.
But you've got to plan in place
Like
if
the
it
plant,
does.
yeah. It's the,
But I've seen evidence of it in public schools. But and the deal, everybody's trying to be happy, you know. And you see some mothers that are so tense and stressed out that they're kind of too strenuous with the kid. But
and that's
I've
where
never seen
sometimes
it.
I'll step in and put my arm around the mom
and
and
abuse.
just say, "Come on, why don't you come over here and you can take a picture?"
Yes,
You know.
yeah, one kid, you know, when I'm walking by, you know, I got a purpose to get up to the stage, and kids crying because she wasn't saying to stop, and mom was crying, "You can't do it." And mom just turned right back around, go in and say, "Oh, that kid, get stress off mom."
Yeah.
Let the kid enjoy.
Yeah.
Just 2 minutes, a minute, me getting up to the stage ain't gonna hurt nothing. Yeah, but yeah, and so far I've been very, very lucky where I don't have, haven't seen that.
And you're careful not to promise things.
Oh, no
don't
promises.
No
No
That's
promises.
where he comes in with what they can do to help themselves.
Yeah.
And that's more.
Yeah, and you give them a plausible excuse. Kids are smart.
Yeah.
You know, and then they got a good liar gauge.
Exactly. And we're not going to make Santa be a liar for them. But, but Michael engages with them on what they can do and how they can help their situation. And then one of them that I love that he tells them is, have you discussed this with your mom and dad?
Yeah.
Communication. Something, no. Well, how about if you communicate that to your mom and dad? I bet you'll be surprised what happens, But in the meantime, to help them out, you need to make sure your schoolwork and that, so.
But we do the same thing with Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Jumped all over the house.
We are the house that has, yes.
Great grandkids coming by us.
Yes. We still pass out candy, yeah, and now we have great grandkids. Great grandkids that their grandparents used to come by. And my favorite little group, and they've turned into teenagers. I remember when they were 4 or 5, and they were like toward the last part, toward 9 o'clock, and I wanted to get rid of all the candy I had. I said, "Fellas, you're gonna have to sing for me in order." And at that time I dressed in costume. I said, "Fellas, you're gonna have to sing a song for me to give you some of this good candy." And it's 4 of them, little boys. And so they looked at each other and said, "What?" I said, "Well, I can give you each one, or if you sing the song for me, you can have this whole bag." So they looked at each other and they sang the Lord's Prayer or something.
They sang something out there.
Yeah, Star Spangled Banner, okay? Surprise me, they got the candy. So every year they will come, and they come around the same time. Well, last year it was about the same time. They're tall, and they were and I said, "Happy Halloween." And so they said, "Ma'am, you don't recognize us." I said, "No, who are?" Said, "We're the singers." They had practice. I'm getting goosies now. They had me in tears of all the songs that they sang. I had 2 big bags of chocolate candy. I gave it to all of them.
They looked like they were 11, 12.
Yes. They put it this way, they got in the car and they drove away. They said, "We'll see you next year." I was like, holy cow, what just happened? Michael said, "You raised some children."
Yeah, but the first time we recognized how long we've been doing it is when one of the kids says, "Son, when I was a kid, I'd come by here and we went, oh, been that
This is
long?"
grown up. But it is, oh man,
Positive
that is so much
impact,
fun.
though, you
That
know.
is, that is so.
Yeah.
And we did that even through COVID, and I was, I put the first year
Put a bucket
out there, but then I was like, no, they're sticking their hands in, so then we fixed it so that they, reduced the germs. We didn't have that many folks come by, but I didn't want to disappoint my regulars, if you will. So, but yeah, those boys last.
Yeah, be prepared next year.
Yes, you don't recognize us. I know what. I said, where are the children? That's how grown up they look. They said, we are the children. Holy moly.
That may be what they sing next year. Isn't there a song, We Are the Children?
Oh, yeah, that might be. Because they can definitely sing. But yeah, I gave them and turned the lights off. Said, I'm done. I gave them and they were like, I told you she still had the good stuff.
I know how strong they are if they bring their mother or their girlfriend and watch them sing.
That's true.
Mama, this is the lady we've been singing for Halloween.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But yes, and my decorator does a great job. He's lost his mind on all the decorations they're like 7 feet, 9 feet tall. Actually, they stay in my formal living room now. And my daughter was like, Mom, this is creeping me out. My grandson's like, it doesn't creep me out, Gigi. I think it's cool.
Do you do as much for Christmas decorations as much?
Not as much. We used to, but because we go down to Houston for Christmas, we don't put out as much because we're down there. We still put up the tree and we still, recognize that it's Christmas, but it used to be, we were lights everywhere.
It's still a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot because
Halloween's more.
Halloween's more, yeah.
I noticed a skeleton showed up in our neighborhood this morning. I mean, one of the tall ones.
Yes.
Tall.
We drive by one on Denver, and that sucker is 12 feet, if not at least.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll be back by you.
I'm waiting to go back and see it crumbled with the wind.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Usually, though, people that put up stuff like that, they know how to fix it so that I know he does a really good job.
That's daughter, grandson, and her boyfriend's daughter.
All good-looking folk.
Mm-hmm.
And they got good foundation here.
Oh, well, thank you. We tried. But we had good foundation.
It sounds like
really
very
recognize how blessed we are. You can hear my dad and my mom in my head. So you're going to use that as an excuse to not do something? I'm like, no. That's going to be my inspiration. So. And then I remember when I was probably about 35 or so, and I remember asking my dad about, it was after he retired from the military, about retirement. He goes and he said, "You'll know when you're done." And so I can tell. Like I said, I'm 71. I can tell this year, and I've been talking to my dad. I said, "Dad, I'm starting to understand what you meant. I'm not enjoying it like I used to, And I get tired about 3:30. My brain is like, okay, nope. Yeah, I'm not giving you any more new thoughts to put on a piece of paper, so.
You look great for 71.
Oh, well, thank you.
You look great.
That's Santa. I'm going to give him some of the credit.
Yes.
A little bit of the credit. I'm going to really give his mom and his dad some of the credit, though, because they raised a great son.
So it's good that you both decided to wear overalls to dance, or this would not.
Not from my perspective.
Most likely would
no, but I was like, he's smart. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, it was odd night because, like I said, we on the same cover, but her friend was fine.
Yes, she was. Stockings. She was. She became an OU cheerleader.
And she's doing all this rubbing. I was like, oh no.
She was sweating. No. I mean, in the.
Yeah, I was like, no, I ain't
and I was like,
this.
Caroline, I told you it's gonna be hot.
I thought she's gonna make me date her or whatever. I'm like, I ain't want to do all that. My thing was, I want to be no baby daddy. I'm not into this. I'm just here to have a good time.
You see why we was friends, because that's all I was there for, was to relax and have a great time.
Plus, I had my two sisters looking at me.
And his sisters, so he got lucky because I already knew his two sisters, but I didn't know they were his sisters.
Mhm.
And I admired them. They were strong. I loved talking to them. Well, when I found out they were his sisters, he got a plus. He got a big plus on that. I'm like, oh, they're your sister. Oh, okay. You might be the real deal, you know. But no, I don't want you being my boyfriend because I got plans. But we'd go to events, and he'd be there, and I love dancing, but I don't have any dance skills, but it never stopped me. But he'd be one of the few people who would dance with me. You know, he didn't make fun of me, the fact that I didn't have any skills. Yeah.
Doing German dances.
Yeah, it didn't stop me though.
But everybody on campus knew that how much I cared for her.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I didn't know that till after
From campus police to.
Yeah. Especially after we got married, and they were like, yeah, everybody knew he loved you. And I was like, oh, okay. My bad. And obviously I loved him. I just didn't, I didn't go to, my thing used to be, I'm not here at the university to find a man. I'm here to get an education, to find out who I am, to figure out what I want to do the next step in life. And my time spent with Santa here was, typically we were having a great time. We laughed, we talked about things I liked where he was mentally and respecting women. His sisters taught him well on that. His mom taught him well on that. And we just had a great fun time. So,
And now he gets to pass some of that on to the children that come
yes,
through.
Yes, definitely.
Bits and pieces, all
Bits and
that up.
pieces. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for when my grandson starts to date, and he's very open with us. He will come. We have Pierce and I have a thing where since he was 2, we go to OOHRP and walk and see the ducks, and that's when he would tell me things. And then he and Michael work in the yard and stuff, and he'll tell him things. So he's very open with us. So I can't wait for him to like his first girlfriend. He probably he'll tell both of us, and ask questions. He always has these
his
questions.
mama spied on him like we spied on
Yeah,
her, so she'll know.
Yeah, she'll know. She'll tell us, but we can't say anything until he says something to. In fact, he got his first. He has his own phone, but she managed, whatever.
Yeah.
And so he had asked her permission if he could put this girl number in his phone. And the rule is that any phone numbers she has to have the parents' phone number. So Pierce had already gotten the parents' phone numbers, and Jennifer verified it. And so he said yes. So she sent us a picture of him talking to the young lady on the phone. I was like, oh, it's already starting. So, but yeah.
So you may move to Houston just to be closer, huh?
Mm-mm.
No?
She come to her daddy.
See. And that's not new. He's been saying that in my brain. Yeah. In fact, when the house that she moved into, 12 years ago, she and I, without him, drove around before she bought the house, and there's a senior citizen place there, but somebody's like, no, she coming up here. That's why we got this house. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to argue about it, whatever. When we get to that point, we'll figure it out. Look at him.
My apologies for bringing it up.
No, he's probably going to win on this one, actually, because he's done such a great job at our house and keeping it up and the yard. It's amazing. It's amazing. Technically, I have retired. When he retired, I retired because I don't, until Jennifer and Pierce come up, I don't cook. I only cook when they come up. And it's because Pierce asked me to do certain things that he didn't know how to do, so.
How would you say your grandkids were?
One's 8 and one's 6. And they already say they have girlfriends and boyfriends.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then they say, and that's okay, Grandma.
Yeah. And you're saying, well, I'm just happy that you shared that information with me.
Yeah.
So keep that door open.
Yeah.
They tell you a lot when it's bedtime, when you lay down with them and just
Yes.
let them chat
Just
till they chat.
Chat.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. Take time to do that.
Yes. Definitely.
All right. Anything else we need to cover?
No,
Anything you need to know that we just started running our mouths?
Oh, no.
What
you
time
have
is it?
covered everything.
Holy moly, it's It's 12:23.
It's not that late, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, then we better wrap it up then, hadn't we? Thank you very much for sharing today. You two
Hope
were
we
awesome.
did. Oh, well, thank you. I
Awesome,
hope
awesome,
we did.
awesome.